What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy 4th of July. Hopefully you all are going to be enjoying some of the fireworks later today. I'm not a fireworks person, but are you? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. As we get into some more news around the WNBA, we got a lawsuit to talk about. We got a whole bunch of awesome games that we saw yesterday and a whole lot more because Quita in the morning starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. All right, guys, let's move on into the first topic of the day. And this first topic is related to a lawsuit, guys. Some important news just dropped yesterday, courtesy of the AP, the Associated Press. They reported that former Phoenix Mercury interim head coach Nikki Blue has filed a lawsuit against the Phoenix Mercury organization. According to the filings, Nikki Blue alleges that she was subjected to unequal treatment and pay based on her race and gender, and so she was and that she was let go in retaliation for raising those concerns. That's didn't mean to do that. That's what we have to talk about today. We're talking about this new lawsuit that, I mean, it feels like every other month we hear about a new lawsuit related to the WNBA, and so yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, again, this was reported by the AP. The reporter on this story is David Brandt. As far as I can tell, this is the only story that's out there. This is the only article, like it's published on several platforms, but it's referencing the same exact article written by David Brandt talking about Nikki Blue. So that's what we're gonna talk through that real quick in the start of the stream, and then we'll move on to the next stuff. So what do we have to talk about? Okay, Nikki Blue, she joined the Phoenix Mercury coaching staff in 2022 as an assistant coach. She was an assistant coach to then head coach Vanessa Nygaard. And midway through a crazy 2023 season, the Phoenix Mercury ended up firing Vanessa Nygaard and hiring, or elevating, I should say, Nikki Blue to an interim head coach role. And Nikki, even with a terrible roster, which we're going to talk more about in just a sec, she ended up being pretty good for this team, right? We ended up seeing her have a 7-win, 21-loss record as the interim head coach. And you may be like, wow, that's actually terrible. Sure, it's still not good, but it is significantly better than Vanessa Nygaard and what she was doing before she got fired for the 2023 season. After the 2023 season was over, the Phoenix Mercury decided not to retain Nikki Blue in that interim head coach role, and then they hired Nate Tibbetts instead, who was an assistant coach with the Orlando Magic, and reportedly they gave him a salary of over $1 million per year. Now, Nikki Blue is saying that there was a pay discrepancy because she says, according to the lawsuit, she says that she earned $250,000 as an interim coach, which was less than what Vanessa Nygaard made, which was reportedly $375,000. And the lawsuit also talks about the Phoenix Mercury setting setting Nikki Blue up for fail by making certain roster decisions in 2023 that basically made the team not good and not competitive. And she was saying that in the lawsuit, she's saying that her contributions and professionalism related to how she did her job as the interim head coach for the Phoenix Mercury that was disregarded. And the lawyers for Nikki Blue is saying that this case is about, quote, the pervasive institutional disrespect for Black women in sports. And the Phoenix Mercury, of course, they had a little bit to say about that. And they ended up talking about this. And for their part, they said that they pushed back on the statements that Nikki Blue's lawyers have made and the lawsuit itself. They say the lawsuit is meritless and says that Nikki Blue was actually considered for the permanent role of head coach, but they ultimately decided not to hire her because of her record and limited experience. Now, her record, again, was not great, but significantly better than what was happening before she took over as interim head coach. And, you know, you also have to think about the fact that the limited experience thing, both Nikki and the current head coach, Nate Tibbetts, for the Phoenix Mercury, neither one had pro level head coaching experience. And so, you know, the experience thing is they were pretty similar on that front. They meaning the Phoenix Mercury lawyers, they also say that Nikki Blue's attorney, they also criticize Nikki Blue's attorney. And because Nikki Blue's representation has filed lawsuits against the Phoenix Mercury and Sons organization in the past. And so that is the information that we have so far. And so I wanted to just bring that to you in a very straight down the line. Here's what is being alleged. I have not seen the actual lawsuit itself. What I am working off of is a Associated Press article that talks about the lawsuit. The guy who wrote the article, I guess he's read it and he wrote a write-up about it. I have not actually seen the lawsuit itself. If I get my hands on the lawsuit, we will go line for line and go through it just like we previously did with the De'Erica Hamby situation. Because I am of the mind that it's important for, in order for us to get a really, really good understanding of it, sometimes we have to read the stuff ourselves. Unfortunately, I don't have the lawsuit available, but once I get it, I absolutely will read the entire thing for you all so you all can kind of get a good idea of what in the world is going on. Okay? Now, this is specifically what this is a specific quote that the Phoenix Mercury and Phoenix Suns lawyers said. They said, quote, "This is the 5th lawsuit brought against the organization by Shree Wright." Shree Wright is representing Nikki Blue, an attorney who has been disciplined twice by the Supreme Court of Arizona for committing numerous violations of the rules of professional conduct, including making false and unsupported allegations of racial bias against a judge. That is what the Phoenix Suns and Mercury's vice president of communication said in a statement. So they're basically like, hey, this lawsuit is not going to stand. We don't think that the lawyer is acting in good faith, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So that's what's happening. Now, to go into the realm I actually do understand, now to really understand the backdrop here, I really want to talk about how dysfunctional the Phoenix Mercury was heading into and during the 2023 season, because some of y'all probably are very aware of what happened during that time, and some of you all may not be aware. And so I'm just going to quickly go through this real quick. So Vanessa Nygaard was the head coach for the Phoenix Mercury. She got hired in 2022, and truly, to be quite honest with you, her tenure was a nightmare. It was a nightmare scenario from the start. In 2022, when she first got hired, We found out that Brittany Griner was detained in Russia, and Vanessa Nygaard had to basically serve as a public spokesperson on the crisis for the Phoenix Mercury, while also trying to coach. Like, that's a lot. That was a whole situation, and it truly was very unfair for a brand new head coach, new to the role, to just have to deal with this PR crisis, which, was just a thing that was just hoisted on her. And then she also had to coach as well. So it was a whole thing. To her credit, to Vanessa Nygaard's credit, I thought she handled the Brittany Griner thing in 2022 as best as she possibly could. And also the Phoenix Mercury, remember guys, in 2022 did end up making the playoffs despite the fact that, Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins-Smith, Skylar Diggins now, Diggins-Smith at the time, they were down for some of the season in 2022, and they still found a way to make the playoffs even without Brittany Griner. But in 2022, you also saw some other stuff as well, right? We also saw some other stuff that Vanessa Nygaard, yes, sure, she did get the team to make the playoffs in 2022, but this team clearly had some issues with her style of leadership. Midway through the season, we saw Tina Charles abruptly leave the team. I believe it was called a contract divorce at the time. This was something that was very, very rare. Like, this is, it didn't happen often at all in the WNBA. The fact that Tina Charles was like, you know what, I'm done. I got to go, and so it was a contract divorce between her and the Phoenix Mercury. So you lose your next top big. Yes, Brittany Griner was detained in Russia, and you had Tina Charles, who was like, you know what, I got to go. And then you had Skylar Diggins-Smith publicly use the clown emoji on Twitter, seemingly related to Vanessa Nygaard, when Vanessa was talking about, I believe it was, she was talking about the All-Star game, I believe. And so that was a whole thing. And just, it didn't seem like all the players really vibed with Vanessa Nygaard. Then comes 2023, and Brittany Griner is back in America. She's back with the Phoenix Mercury, and there was some thought that maybe Brittany Griner's presence would kind of like stabilize some stuff, right? Because on paper, the Phoenix Mercury team at the start of the 2023 season looked really, really good, right? This is a team that largely was still intact from their 2021 finals run, where they ultimately lost to the Chicago Sky. But instead of having a really good start to the season, they started the 2023 season looking horrible. They didn't look like they were ready to play. They just played bad. They had the league's worst net rating. This team was just not good on both the offensive and defensive end as well. We saw injuries start to pile up for this team. We saw Skylar never returning back from maternity leave. The team just looked bad. And also, it didn't look like there was going to be any real hope for this team to be successful. So with only 2 wins close to midway through the season, the Phoenix Mercury made the decision to fire Vanessa Nygaard, and then they elevated Nikki Blue from the assistant coaching role that she was in to interim head coach. Now, to be clear, when Nikki Blue stepped in, she did not engineer some miracle turnaround, but in my personal view, just remembering what I can remember back from 2023, she did more with a depleted roster than Vanessa Nygaard did, right? She did more. The team just looked like they were trying a little bit harder. They looked a little bit better. Still, they lost a bunch of games, but it looked like maybe there could have been a pathway forward. Maybe. Just maybe. And that alone, given the circumstances, I think is worth noting. Now, that's all I got to say right now. So I just wanted to mention the lawsuit, talk about what's in it, and give some context to that 2022-2023 season. And so, yeah, we'll see ultimately what happens. I'm going to reserve further commentary about this until I actually get a chance to read the lawsuit and see what any additional reporting says. But I'll say this for now. At the time, and still, I personally did believe that Nikki Blue deserved a real shot at the head coaching role. Not only because she did more with less. It did seem like she did get more out of what was left of the Phoenix Mercury squad roster. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll stay tuned and see how this thing develops more in the future. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm just curious, was that helpful at all? Again, I'm trying to give you all some insight of what's going on. Didn't mean to do that. While also, not going too deep into it and having a real take on the lawsuit, because again, we don't know. We don't have any specifics, so I'm not going to jump the gun on any conclusions. But I did just want to bring that to you, and I did want to just bring to you my thoughts at the time when she was let go. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to actually talk about the games that happened yesterday, because I'm sure that's what a lot of y'all came here for. A lot of y'all came here to hear me talk about yesterday's games, and yeah, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it because yesterday we had a full slate of WNBA action last night, and I got the recaps for you. We had some, in my opinion, big time upsets, really awesome clutch plays, and some real statements was made yesterday. So I'm gonna try to go game by game, and I'm not gonna do like the most thorough, in-depth recap, but I'm gonna try my best to succinct as succinctly as possible. I think that's the phrase. Anyway, let's move on. Also, just for context, the reason why I'm not going to the comments about this, the lawsuit thing, is because I'm just like glancing at the lawsuit, at the comments, and it seems like most of the comments have nothing to do with this lawsuit, and I don't want to spend 5 minutes scrolling trying to find a comment that's relevant. So that's why that is actually why I'm not going to do the comments for this one, only because it seems like most of the chat is off the rails. Okay. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to talk about last night's games, and we begin with the New York Liberty ended up getting the dub against the LA Sparks at home. I'll probably have a separate video about the installation that the New York Liberty ended up having outside the arena. It was really awesome portraits. It's really cool. I'll probably have a separate thing to talk about that. But to talk about the actual game, we saw the New York Liberty get the dub. Ultimately, the final score was 89-79. And when it comes to this game, I have to talk about two players in particular. Natasha Cloud for the New York Liberty, who balled out of control. She was doing her thing yesterday. And we, of course, also got to talk about Julie Vanloo. But first, let's talk through this game. All right. So the New York Liberty ended up rallying to ultimately get the dub. Here's the thing. In the first half, the Liberty didn't play that great. They really didn't. They weren't really hitting the shots that they need to make, and they weren't clicking. Because remember, guys, remember. This New York Liberty team is still playing without Jonquel Jones, a player who just dominates for them, right? And in some ways, injuries, as I said before, it exposes stuff. And it exposes that, like, yeah, the New York Liberty really, really miss Jonquel. And you could really tell that in that first half. In the second quarter, you know, it's basically like, hey, we got to get it together. We got to get it together because we got the LA Sparks. They beating us at halftime. At halftime, the LA Sparks had the lead, and it felt like in that third quarter, whatever was said at halftime, just boom. It made it happen. It made it happen. Yeah, they made it happen in that third quarter. I will say this: the LA Sparks look really good in this game at times, especially in that first half, and at the early part of the third quarter. But Natasha Cloud was like, you know what? I'm done with this team being close to us. We really need to get back into it. Natasha Cloud had a masterful third quarter. She had like 11 of her 23 points in that third quarter alone. Had the New York Liberty on a 13-0 run. Sabrina Ionescu was scoring as well. And just like that, we end up seeing the New York Liberty ultimately get the dub. They were able to flip the game on its head in that third quarter and make some stuff happen. A couple things to note. Stewie was being Stewie. You know, she did her thing. 17 points for her. She had 14 rebounds, 4 assists. Sabrina Ionescu, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. But turnovers matter. 7 turnovers for her in yesterday's game. And Tosh Cloud was MVP for the New York Liberty. She had 23 points in yesterday's game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, only 2 turnovers. Yeah, Go says, imagine if Natasha Cloud isn't there, Liberty might be under 500 this year. There has been so many times so far this season, I would say at least 3 or 4 that I can specifically count to Natasha Cloud kind of saving the day for the New York Liberty. Like I think she really just stepped up and made stuff happen for this squad. So hey, shout out to Tosh. Okay. So with this win, we end up seeing Sandy Brondello lock up the All-Star coaching spot. So it's going to be Sandy versus Cheryl in the All-Star game in terms of coaching. And so yeah. Now that was the New York Liberty. Now for the LA Sparks, I think you got to have your head held high. I think you have to have your head held high in this game because you played against the defending champs. You gave them a run for their money in the first half, and then, yeah, they kick you in the face in the second half. Absolutely. Absolutely they did. But De'Erica Hamby had a really good game. She had 25 points in yesterday's game. Almost a double-double with 9 rebounds as well. Rae Burrell, I was very excited to see her make her long-awaited return. She's been out for weeks since, the first game of the season. And yesterday she ended up playing around 12 minutes, ended up having 5 points. So it's great to see her back. It's going to, she's out for 6 weeks. She's on crutches, the whole thing. And so, yeah, you gotta celebrate when players return from injury. It's going to take her a little bit to really, really get back in the groove. But Rae Burrell is back, and that is awesome to see. And we got to talk about Julie Vanloo. What a wild week for Julie Vanloo. Wild week, okay? Just a couple days ago, she was flying back to San Francisco after winning Eurobasket with Team Belgium. thinking that, okay, I'm about to get back to San Francisco. I'm about to play with the Valks. We about to have a great rest of the season. Instead, she lands, and then she finds out that she got cut. She found out that she got cut from the she got cut basically like a little bit after she arrived in San Francisco. And so, yeah, Julie Vanloo did not get that news and just say, you know what? I'm going back to Europe. I'm done with America. I'm done with the WNBA. No, she stayed in America, and she waited for her next opportunity. And that next opportunity came yesterday. And before yesterday's game between the Liberty and the Sparks, I saw a photo of Julie Vanloo just hanging out outside of Barclays Center in New York, watching the clock, waiting to get picked up. And then, boom, call comes from the LA Sparks GM. Julie Vanloo is now a Spark. The team came and got her from outside, and she made her debut for the LA Sparks last night, just literally hours after getting picked up. Wild. Now, did Julie Vanloo play a lot of minutes? No, she did not. She did not. Okay. She didn't really do much of anything, right? 2 minutes. She had 2 turnovers. She got in the game, which is great. So it wasn't like she did a lot because, again, she had zero practice at all with this team. And so that's a thing. And, it was cool to see her. It was cool to see her there. And also she has her teammate, Julie Vanloo, who also is on Team Belgium. And so they were able to connect and all that stuff. And so that's pretty cool. Julie Vanloo has been through a lot in the last couple of days, but her motto is just keep going. And she did just keep going after a wild week. Sometimes you just got to be like, hey, let me sit and wait for my next opportunity. Let me sit and wait. And she got it. Oh, before we get off this topic of this game, I do want to mention, Julie Vanloo is on the LA Sparks. Julie Vanloo is now on the LA Sparks, and so that's cool to see. So we got two Julies. On the LA Sparks right now. Anyway, before I get off this topic of this game, did anyone notice and find kind of funny the 2 texts that Lynn Roberts and Sandy Brondello got yesterday? Anyone notice that? So in the fourth quarter, Rickea Jackson, I think she went for a shot. She missed it, and I think she got the rebound. Or it was off a rebound. She tried to go for the putback. I believe she was going against Brianna Stewart, I believe. It was somebody from the New York Liberty. She missed the shot, but she fell down, and Lynn Roberts was pissed, and she was like, come on, ref, and she was saying something to the ref, and the ref ended up giving her a tech, which I was fine with the no call. The refs didn't call a foul on that. I was, from the one angle we saw, I was okay with it. And then a little while later, on the other end, we saw Sabrina Ionescu dribbling, and you know how point guards do it all the time. They push off. They push off with their offhand all the time. And, we got De'Erica Hamby guarding, I believe it's De'Erica Hamby guarding Sabrina Ionescu. And Sabrina, tries to push off, tries to get her away. And the acting job on De'Erica Hamby, I was like, oh my gosh. She act like she really got hit in the face. And then the refs call a offensive foul because technically, she did, try to push off. But she didn't actually actually connect with her. And so that's a thing. And so they showed a replay in the arena, and all the fans was like, "What? She didn't even touch her." And Sandy Brondello got mad about it, and so she was arguing with the refs, and the refs called a tech on her. Okay, and so tech on Lynn Roberts, tech on Sandy Brondello, and let's move on to the next game, because the next game featured a coach getting a tech as well. This game was the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces, where Stephanie White got a tech and then got a half half. But anyway, let's get into that game real quick. Again, we're gonna kind of try to go through these pretty fast. Basically, Indiana wins 81-54. It was absolute domination. Indiana smokes Las Vegas as Asia tried to play hero ball. Well, not hero ball. She tried to be the solo hero for her team, but it just wasn't enough. Her 29 points was not enough. Let's talk about. Let's go to Indianapolis, where the Indiana Fever snapped a 16-game losing streak to the Aces by blowing them out, 81-54. And honestly, guys, the game was it was horrible for the Las Vegas Aces and fantastic for the Indiana Fever. This game, in my opinion, was equally how bad the Aces were and also how fantastic of defense the Indiana Fever played. Here's the deal. This is finally the types of games that Stephanie White is an excellent coach on. Stephanie White was with the Connecticut Sun for the last couple of years, and what was Connecticut known for? That was known for defense. That was a team that was going to be very physical with you. They're going to knock you off your square and just frustrate you to the point where you just can't really do anything. Their guards, from their guards to the post players, everybody's playing fantastic help defense throughout the games. They are just beating their opponents to the space, and that has transferred over to the Indiana Fever. Look at the last two games for the Fever, right? Against the Minnesota Lynx, against the Las Vegas Aces. We are seeing a defense just step up and do well. And we're seeing that paired up with fantastic offense. I'm talking fantastic offense like Kelsey Mitchell, who was still on fire, right? Kelsey Mitchell, 25 points in yesterday's game, right? And 6 assists. A lot of times people want to say, "Oh, Kelsey Mitchell don't pass. Kelsey Mitchell is selfish." All this. Mitchell can pass, and she was doing that yesterday. And she's had some games where she's been doing that. I don't know if 6 assists is her season high, but anyway, she was fantastic, right? Doing her thing, knocking down 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer. And then down low, you had Aaliyah Boston, who Aaliyah Boston was going toe-to-toe with A'ja Wilson, and she was like, "You know what? I am giving you the business." 20 points for Aaliyah Boston, 7 rebounds. She was doing her thing, and Natasha Howard, another double-double, 11 points, 10 rebounds for her. And everybody else did their thing. Erin McDonald continues to have a fantastic year with the Indiana Fever. She didn't score a lot of points because, again, she is more of a game manager. She is a facilitator. She is someone who's going to get everybody involved, and she did just that yesterday. Really good defense from her. Really good offensive ideas from her as well. Just not doing anything dumb. 8 points for her, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Like, just great game for her. Because just overall, the Indiana Fever, suffocating defense. They held Las Vegas. Now, remember, this is the same Las Vegas team that won 2 back-to-back championships. Same Las Vegas team. They held them to 26% shooting. That really tells the whole story in a way. Outside of A'ja Wilson, who was kind of unstoppable, right? Outside of A'ja Wilson, the rest of the aces shoot, 7 for 43 from the field? A'ja finished with 29 points in yesterday's game. Shot 50% from the field. Everybody else was horrible. Okay? Nobody on the Las Vegas Aces scored more than 6 points besides A'ja. Nobody. And there's something going on with this Aces team that we're probably going to find out something later on, because I don't know how you go from being a really good team to having the point guard, Chelsea Gray, who is an elite point guard, but this year is terrible. Right? We're seeing Chelsea Gray get more turnovers than assists, guys. We are seeing Jewel Lloyd attempt 3 field goals in the entire game. Right? We're seeing Jackie Young only score 6 points. Like there's no hope for the Aces if they continue to play like this. A'ja Wilson did everything she could, and she had absolutely no help from the rest of the team. A'ja made 9 field goals in yesterday's game. The rest of her team combined for 7 field goals in the entire game. That is pathetic, guys. And we saw the Aces commit turnover after turnover after turnover. And Indiana, that was because of Indiana's defense, but also because the Aces were trash, right? They were trash. Left and right, fantastic defense by the Fever, and no real adjustments, no real plan for the Aces. Now, if you are the Aces and you're Becky Hammond, you're looking at this game and you're looking yourself in the mirror and you're saying, you know what? We got to figure out why no one outside of A'ja Wilson is showing up. And if you're Stephanie White with the Indiana Fever, you're saying, you know what? We got to keep it going. This defensive intensity, the way we have played in the last 2 games, is exactly how we need to play for the rest of the season. They've won 9 of their last 12 games. They are not afraid of anybody, especially since their defense is doing well. Oh, because the offense is going to come. You know you have shooters on your team. It's when you're able to shut down a team that won 2 back-to-back championships, like a season ago, not last season, but in 2022, 2023, back-to-back championships for the Las Vegas Aces, largely the same core with the exception of Kelsey Plum, and this Indiana Fever team, they did their thing. They absolutely did their thing. Dominique says, Quita tries to not be negative, but has no other option than to tell the ugly truth. I mean, the Aces are bad. Like, they're just... And I was thinking, okay, they're going to try to get it together. Okay, maybe I see the logic in Nalissa Smith and whatnot, but, like, she didn't do anything either. She got a good reception from the crowd, but, like, she didn't, like... They're just bad. They are just bad. There's, like... I just wonder if we'll find out something later of like what exactly is happening, because it I don't know what it is. They shouldn't be playing this bad. They really shouldn't be. Ghost, thank you so much for the super chat. Says I'm going to call it the Colson curse. Vegas down bad. I mean, Sydney Colson was an excellent piece for the Aces. That's for sure. Cole Hama says Becky Hammon threw the entire team under the bus. You mean in her post-game presser? I mean, the entire team played like trash besides Asia, who's been carrying this team and is probably exhausted. Right? Besides Asia, the rest of the team do need to be thrown under the bus. They play like trash. They play like trash. And so, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Let's go to the other game that was wild for me. Wild. And also, fun fact, the Las Vegas Aces still do not have a general manager. Just want to put that out there. They still do not have a general manager in that role. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the game that shocked the mess out of me and the game that I was most excited about yesterday. So, you all know that when it comes to me, I heavily enjoy the underdog, right? Y'all know that about me, or at least y'all should know. I love underdogs. I love to see teams win games that, in my opinion, they have no business winning. And yesterday, that was the Dallas Wings, who, they had 8 players, guys. This Dallas Wings team had so many players out on the injured list. So many players. They signed Leah King at the last minute, and she suits up for the squad, and they have 8 players. This team started 4 rookies. 4 rookies, guys. They started 4 rookies in yesterday's game. Okay? Their starting lineup yesterday was Lee Rue, who is not a rookie, but is still very young in the WNBA. Luisa Geisel-Sorter, who is a rookie, a non-traditional rookie, I would say, overseas rookie. Paige Bueckers, Aziaha James, and JJ Kennerly. And this team punched the Phoenix Mercury in the face from the get-go. And guys, I gotta say, sometimes it's not all about who is hyped up. Because I feel like I've been talking about her for a long time. But like, people wasn't paying attention as much. Y'all know, if y'all were watching this channel if y'all were watching this channel during the NCAA season this past year, you all would have heard me talk about JJ Kennerly at West Virginia. And you heard me talk about how good JJ Kennerly was and how I really liked her as a scorer and how she's just a hooper. And guys, yesterday, JJ Kennerly and Aziaha James put on an absolute clinic. Aziaha James, number one, she was knocking down 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. JJ Kennerly knocking down shots, getting to the bucket, making stuff happen. Paige Bueckers doing it as well. Okay, here's the thing. Let me drop the points real quick, and let's talk about how they did it. Okay, 28 points for Aziaha James. 28, 6 assists, 6 rebounds for Aziaha. Okay, move on. JJ Kennerly, 17 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Okay, remember, these are rookies. Move on. Paige Bueckers, 23 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Okay? Let's talk about how this goes. Teacher says, Quitty, you have to say, West Virginia. I'm telling you, who remembers all the times I've talked about JJ Kennerly during this past NCAA season? I'm just saying, like, she was great. But the specific thing I want to talk about is if you notice the shots that they were getting, they were making the right decisions on the court. The thing I loved about the rookies for the Dallas Wings is how they easily went into space. Here's the thing that sounds dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Y'all let me know if it makes sense. Okay, so watching this game yesterday was making me see, like, Isaiah James, JJ Kennerly, Paige Bueckers, they just go exactly to where there is open space and they make stuff happen. So many times I see guards. They like to drive into a crowd. Oh, it's two people at the basket. Okay, well let me go on in there and try to force up a shot. You know, what we saw was Aziaha, we saw JJ, we saw Paige getting into open space on the court, finding open space, and then either shooting the shot or passing the basketball. There was a moment, I forgot what court it was, but JJ Kennerly stole the basketball. I believe it was Alyssa Thomas who ended up doing a bad pass. JJ Kennerly gets the basketball. She is running down the court. She has the basketball. We see two players for Phoenix get back, and they're kind of like near the basket. And so she has an opportunity. Do you want to force a layup in between two players who are going to contest the shot? Or what she did is she was running down. Those two players were there. We saw Isaiah James over there on the side, ready to shoot the shot. I think it was a 3-point shot. And JJ Kennerly, fantastic pass to Zaza to make the bucket. These were the smart decisions that I saw the rookies for Dallas do all game. And it seems dumb to call that out, that like, they look for open space and then they try to work. Or if it's a crowded space, then they're going to pass the basketball and make some other stuff happen. They're not forcing anything. That's what I'm trying to say. This team is not, I mean, every now and then they'll force some stuff, but like overall, they're not forcing stuff. Right? And it's leading to a lot of success on the court. Right? It's leading to a lot of success. And this Dallas Wings team is a very young squad. They are very, very young. However, the way they played yesterday, with the confidence they played at, with, again, rookies leading the charge, you have to look at that and be like, you know what? Times are changing, man. Times are changing. LL Cool J is right. The Dallas rookies are having fun. They're having fun. They're hooping. They're making the smart decision, and good things are happening. Again, guys, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science to try to look for open space to make a jump shot or try to get and1 buckets and all that stuff. No, like absolutely. Can you do that? Can you possibly make a shot or get fouled or something if you're like 1 against 2 and you're going up for a tough shot or whatever? Sure, but you got to just make the smart play, and it feels like that's what Dallas was doing yesterday. They're making the right play, and they're great. Paige, Aziaha, JJ. Oh my goodness. It's great. Henry, yes. Dallas was playing read and react offense, and Phoenix couldn't defend it. Yeah, because they didn't expect it. And they couldn't adjust, which I was surprised about. Honestly, I was very surprised. And yeah, the women's sports champ says the game has changed. Rookies aren't rookies anymore. Yeah. It's a new day. It is a new day. It's not, in years past, it's always been just about the main players who were drafted and whatnot. But like this draft class with both the players who were traditionally drafted from college, as well as international players who are just coming into the WNBA for the first time this year as rookies. We're just seeing a sea change, and I'll have to do a story eventually specifically about the rookies because I loved it, and I just want to give a huge shout out to the Dallas Wings. Huge shout out to the Dallas Wings for the heart and hustle that they played in. It was fantastic to see. And so yeah, I had to talk about it. Shout out to the Dallas Wings, man. It's a new day. And I'm telling you, I have been big on her before. I'm gonna stay big on her. JJ Kennelly was doing her thing. I mean, Zaza, crazy. The game that she had, and of course, Paige Bueckers is Paige Bueckers, of course. So yeah, great game for those three and the Dallas Wings as they take down the Phoenix Mercury 98-89. I always like when the final score is like flipped. Like, I don't know, like a weird thing. It's always kind of fun when the score is flipped. Anyway, when it comes to the Phoenix Mercury, I mean, Collier did a thing. Absolutely. She did her thing. Did her thing in yesterday's game. This was probably the healthiest I've seen Collier. Remember, Kai has dealt with a lot of injury. Like, she's been hurt for a huge part of the season so far. And yesterday she looked great, right? She looked great. 33 points, was just hooping up a storm. But unfortunately for her team didn't play no defense. They couldn't play no defense against the Dallas Wings, right? So Collier does her thing, 33 points. Satu Sabally goes into Dallas, gets booed by the fans, and I mean, I wasn't surprised by that personally. It seemed like she may have been a little bit surprised about it. But Satu ended up with 20 points, right? And so, like, it wasn't the lack of points. Scoring 89 points in a game in the WNBA is a pretty winnable number. The problem was you got these young legs on the Dallas Wings that is just running up a storm. And so, yeah. I mean, they couldn't keep up. The Phoenix Mercury could not keep up. And, it is what it is. It is what it is, okay? Now, is the Phoenix Mercury a bad team? No. The Phoenix Mercury is still an excellent team in the WNBA. It's just they got punched in the face early by some young guns, and they couldn't respond. They couldn't respond defensively. They were trying to go pound for pound offensively, but when you scoring 89 points and you still lose, it's your defense that needs to get worked on. And so, again, shout out to Dallas. And shout out to rookies. Shout out to rookies all in the WNBA. Shout out to all the rookies in the WNBA because this rookie group is different. They're fun, and I love it. I love it. Okay? Ghost, thank you so much for the super chat, says, would you rather have Mystics or Wings rookies right now? I'm going to say Wings. The reason why is because, yes, the Mystics have Lucy Olsen, who had a really good game yesterday. We'll talk about her in just a sec. Yes, you have Olsen. Yes, you have Citron. You have Kiki. However, in a lot of respects, to me, everything starts with the point guard, and the Wings got the best point guard of the group. So I'm rocking with the Wings. I would say if I had to choose, I would pick the Wings. Yeah, I would pick the Wings. All right. Because you have a really good point guard who has potential of being elite. You have a really streaky scorer in J.J. Kitterly who can light it up. And then you got Aziaha James who can be streaky at times, but is a very consistent, can be a very consistent presence for you night in and night out. So yeah, I would go Dallas if I had to pick, which, I mean, luckily I don't have to because at the end of the day, it doesn't totally matter because, you know, I don't live in either of those places. So, but yeah. Nina, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, what grade would you give to the Wings for trading Alyssa to the Aces for a first round pick? Oh, I mean, I it's a win for the Wings. Yeah, I think that's like I would give it an A. That's an A. Yeah, that's an A trade. That's an A trade. All right. Eric says Amor will be back next year. Hopefully she fits. Yeah, she will be back. It's been really awesome to see footage of Georgia Amor just with the team and just rocking out, and just sort of hanging out and being there. I've seen footage of her, you know, just shooting. Of course, she's not really moving that much, but like her shooting and whatnot. Remember, guys, she tore her ACL in training camp. And so she's out for the season, but like it's really good to see her with the squad. I think she's going to I think she's going to have some advantage going into next season because she's been with the team and she's been just working out as much as she possibly can because again she tore her ACL, and so yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing right there. Okay, let's move on. Next up, let's talk about the Storm versus the Dream. Guys, Skylar is her. Skylar Diggins is amazing. And she showed it again. She showed it again yesterday with the game-winning bucket for Skylar Diggins Smith. Now, you know, this game was a nail biter throughout. It was pretty evenly matched throughout the entire game. Like no team necessarily had a huge advantage. It was pretty standard. Neck and neck. But with about 3 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, we saw a player named Skylar Diggins just say, you know what? I'm about to keep the ball. I'm about to wait for my time. I'm gonna go towards the rim and I'm about to score. And that's exactly what she did. Skylar Diggins with the game-winning layup with 3.4 seconds left to go to give the Seattle Storm a 1-point lead, and ultimately Jordan Canada misses the 3-point shot for the Dream, and the Storm end up weathering the storm or weathering the dream that Atlanta had. I don't know. Anyway, in this game, I have to continue to talk about Erica Wheeler for this Seattle Storm team. The reason why is because truly, I did not expect Erica Wheeler to be dominating as much as she is. This season, guys, Erica Wheeler is averaging 11.9 points a game. This is the best season since 2021 for Erica Wheeler. And in several games this year, she has come up clutch for this team, specifically even yesterday. Yes, Tisha got it. The Storm turned the Dream into a nightmare. There we go. I like that. I really like that. Okay? But anyway, Erica Wheeler was flat out phenomenal. And she has been this year. I've really enjoyed, especially like the move to put her in the starting lineup was huge. Because not only does Erica Wheeler give you an offensive threat, someone who can just figure out a way to score, dog. Not only does she do that, she also plays defense. And you pair those two up together, you got a really good player. You have a really good player on your hands. 21 points last night for Erica Wheeler. She does her thing again. Right? You know, and then you got Nneka Ogwumike, just does her job. Every night in and night out. Once again, another all-star berth for Nneka Ogwumike, the 10th time that she is an all-star. And the reason why is because she just hoops, guys. She just hoops. And she does whatever she needs to do down low to make sure her team gets the dub. 24 points for Nneka Ogwumike last night. 7 rebounds. She does her thing. And Skylar Diggins, who offensively shooting wise, does not have that great of a night. But the thing I love about Skylar is she wants the big moments. She could be struggling the entire game. Yeah, she could be struggling. Entire game. But when it matters the most, just like how we saw in Unrivaled, Skylar's like, give me that basketball and I'm gonna do my thing. I'm going to do my thing. And that's exactly what she did. And so, yeah. Skylar, I mean, that's what you do. So even with 20 plus lead changes in yesterday's game, several ties, neither team really having the real edge over the other. Ultimately, we saw the Seattle Storm get the job done. For the Atlanta Dream, you just got to figure out a way to close out the games, right? You got to close out games. That's what you got to do, right? And yes, absolutely yes, Ryan Howard was out yesterday, but this was a winnable game for the Atlanta Dream. It was very winnable. Jordan Canada, she goes off. She has 25 points, a career high for her. Brianna Jones has a good game as well, 18 for her, double-double, right? Alicia Gray had a double-double as well in yesterday's game. But at the end of the day, you got to close out the win. And Atlanta, even at home, ultimately could not do it. Even though they had a lot of opportunities. They had chances. They just couldn't close it out. And we're still really early in the season. And I think that that's a thing. We're still really early in the season, and like this is a learning opportunity for Carl Semesco and the Atlanta Dream. Like win winnable games, right? Win winnable games, and they had an opportunity to, and just couldn't close it out. But again, shout out to the Seattle Storm. Shout out to Skylar Diggins for once again, being the player that we know she is, the big bucket getter. When her team really, really needs her to do something, hey, she could be playing terrible shooting wise, but at the end of the day, make it happen. Make it happen, Captain. Tony says, was the CBA discussed? No. The CBA will be the entire show for Monday. All right? We're doing the deepest dive that you've seen on the CBA. The CBA means collective bargaining agreement. We're going to do a massive deep dive on Monday. I have it all planned out. We're about to do this thing, okay? So the CBA will be thoroughly discussed then. All right? Okay. Next up, let's talk about the Lynx versus Mystics. Now, the Minnesota Lynx embarrassed themselves in the Commissioner's Cup game at home. They embarrassed themselves. And they were like, you know what? We cannot do this again. We cannot do this again. So yeah, the Minnesota Lynx took down the Washington Mystics pretty easily. Final score was 92 points to 75, 92 to 75 for that game. And so, yeah. For this game, we saw Napheesa Collier do her thing. You know, Napheesa Collier is not going to have 2 back-to-back games. You're not going to see that very often, okay? Tulip. Literally, I said it, and then I just saw your comment. Tulip, yeah. She's not going to have 2 bad games in a row, okay? So 28 points for her. Think about it this way. She did all of that from the second quarter on. Or from the second quarter on, we saw Napheesa Collier just get in her bag. Okay? Another player who got in her bag after playing like absolute horrible. Absolute horrible. That's not even a. I was just about to say absolute garbage, but she was terrible. Basically everybody but Atlanta Smith in that game against the Fever played bad. Right? They allowed Indiana to get under their skin and all that stuff. And yesterday, they were like, none of that. Napheesa is going to be Napheesa, the player that we all know she is. Right? Courtney Williams is going to do her thing, passing that basketball, making stuff happen, getting her teammates involved. 10 points for her, 8 assists for her, like doing her thing, right? And the Minnesota Lynx were able to take down the young and fun Washington Mystics. Tony says every team is beatable this season. Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. Every team is beatable to an extent, right? The Minnesota Lynx played well yesterday. They forced 20 turnovers, I believe. They forced 20 turnovers against the Mystics, and for the regular season, the Minnesota Lynx is rocking and rolling. There are 15 wins, 2 losses on the season. That Commissioner's Cup game, while it counted in the pocketbooks, it did not actually count for the actual record, and so that's a thing there. For the Washington Mystics, can we give a shout out in chat? I was talking about the rookies for the Dallas versus Phoenix game. I was talking about the rookies and how good they are and blah blah blah. Can we give a shout out in the chat to Lucy Olsen? Can we give a shout out? Because Lucy Olsen yesterday does her bag. She's in her bag. She did her big one yesterday. She came off the bench, played 17 minutes, finished with 19 points, guys. 19 points for Lucy Olsen. Can we give a shout out? Like, I'm telling you guys, these rookies mean business. 19 points in 17 minutes for Lucy Olsen. Like, dog. She was lights out in a lot of ways. She earned more minutes yesterday, and I just love it. Here's the thing. The starters for Washington were bad. They were not good. Everybody struggled in the starting lineup for the Washington Mystics, right? Shakira struggled, Kiki struggled, Brittany Sykes struggled, right? Sonia Citron struggled, Jade Melvin struggled. And in that game, off the bench, we have Lucy Olsen, a rookie, come in and make an impact. A big impact for her team. And also, can we talk about Aaliyah Edwards, the player who is in the news, right? A player who is in the news when it comes to a possible trade, right? When it comes to a possible trade, she's in the news now, and it's like, hey, allegedly the Washington Mystics are fielding trade requests for Aaliyah Edwards. And to be truly honest with you, I wasn't even sure if she was even going to play yesterday, because it's like, if they are really if they do really have her on the trade market, like, you don't want her to get injured. And so sometimes if a team is trying to trade a player, they just won't play them because they're like, we don't need you getting injured. But she came in yesterday's game. And did her big one. 15 points for her in yesterday's game. Her and Lucy Olsen, they lead the stats, right? They lead the stats. 15 points for Aaliyah Edwards, 6 rebounds. She does her big one. And so, yeah, man. Shout out to these young players. Okay. All right, guys, that's kind of what I want to talk about, guys. That is kind of what I want to talk about. So there you have it. Those are the games that happened yesterday. Did I cover every specific aspect about each game? No. However, I try my best to give you all the gist of what was happening. Luckily for me, I have YouTube TV. I also pay for a league pass on YouTube. And so I was able to watch the game, all 4 games. I had 4 boxes up on YouTube. And then because the Fever and Aces game was on Amazon Prime, I had to have it on my phone. And so there's that. That's a whole thing. But 5 games yesterday. I tried my best to give 5 really good recaps. Hopefully those are helpful for you. But anyway, I thank you all so much for rocking with me. If y'all are enjoying what I'm doing here, if y'all could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, if you could, that would be kind of amazing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I make content all about women's basketball. I am obsessed with women's basketball because I love it, because it is my favorite sport. It has been my favorite sport since I was a child, and now I feel like I'm living the dream. Literally every single day, I get to talk with a bunch of awesome people on the internet about women's basketball. Like, guys, truly. Before I started this channel, I would do this to my mama. She would hear me talk all about the WNBA, all about these players, all about these games. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened, and blah, 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 blah. Now, you all are getting an inside look into what I have literally been doing for years. And the fact that you all are rocking with it, the fact that you all are engaging with this channel, it truly means a lot, and I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for your support, and just it truly is amazing. It truly is amazing. Thank you. Guys, if y'all missed the news yesterday, the news is I will be at WNBA All-Star, and I am still over the moon about it. I am still excited about it. It's funny. Yeah, quick aside. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But it is the 4th of July, which means I don't have to work today, which means I have a little bit more time to just talk real quick. Funny thing, yesterday. So I told my mom right after I found out that I had that I got the credentials, and my dad was at work when I found out, and so I didn't tell him because he's at work. I'm not gonna call him or whatever. And then I forget to send him a message and tell him, and then I guess my mama forgot to tell him too. And so my dad, he watches every show. He watches every show. He doesn't usually watch it in the morning. He usually watches it like maybe around like 12 or something like that. So he's watching yesterday's episode. He calls me And he's like, girl, why didn't you tell me that you that you got credentialed? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I forgot. So my dad, he didn't get the breaking news when it happened because he was at work, and me and my mama forgot to tell him. But he was watching the show yesterday, and that's how he found out. So anyway, I thought that was it was funny to me when he told me it, but I mean, me telling it back to y'all, maybe it doesn't make sense because y'all don't know my dad like that, and like the way he said it was pretty funny. Anyway. Yeah, he found out on the show. Like he found out while listening to the show, because neither me or my mama told him because we both forgot. Because he was at work when I found out, and so it's like he's like, just text me next time, text me, and so yeah. Anyway. Kay says typical dad treatment. Kim says been following Quita for 2.5 seasons. Yo, let's go. Hey, and we about to keep it going. We're about to keep it going. Again, I'm very grateful for your just your engagement. I really do appreciate it. It truly is very much appreciated. I thank you all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Quita Love Sports is in the mornings, and the show is Quita in the morning every single, it's technically not every single day. Every single weekday it is. But yeah, I will see y'all over the weekend. We got some great games happening over the weekend. I will possibly go live on Sunday after the full All-Star list is revealed. And yeah, we got a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about as well. So again, I thank you, and I appreciate y'all so much. All right. Anyway, y'all have a great one. Yeah, I gotta go. All right, y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all in the next one. I am trying to find my end graphic, because yesterday I forgot to play it, and today I'm gonna play it for sure because I forgot yesterday. But while I find it, anybody else has anything else to say before we go? All right, found it. See y'all in the next one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set.